You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
What's up, ladies? Happy Sunday. How y'all doing? It's your girl, your diva in knowledge, Mocha, representing Mocha's Ladies Lounge. Please make sure y'all hit that like button before you sit down and grab a seat, y'all. I'm so glad all of you are here. Again, I appreciate all the love, all the support. Thank y'all for still rocking out with me. All my members that are still tithing, $3 a month to the congregation. I appreciate y'all. I'm grateful. All of my new subscribers, welcome to Mocha's Ladies Lounge family. And all my A1s from day ones, I so appreciate y'all. All the mod squad, Mocha's mod squad on deck with the wrenches. Appreciate y'all for holding me down as usual. So y'all, I really wanted to do this particular sermon today because there are so many airheads that are out there, okay? It's a lot of coleslaws, a lot of side chicks, appetizers, Jezebels, whatever you want to call them. We know it's so many of them out here who are thinking that they're going to get blessed off of another woman's misery, right? So I really want to kind of speak on this because, the last live I did, matter of fact, let me say this, a couple of things I want to address before I go into the sermon, now that my memory serves me correctly. The last upload I did about Martell's racist statement that he made on a TikTok live, I did have a few people in the comment section who basically felt like I was reaching. They basically felt like, I had one of them say, hey, I don't like Martell. I'm not a fan of Martell. But at the same token, he didn't mean it the way you're trying to make it out to be, right? So basically, I had a few sisters who basically were saying that Martell had a point, that because of, the black community being oppressed, is the reason why these other individuals are, should be receiving karma in a sense. So basically, I had a few of them kind of co-signing, and they felt like Martell had a point as far as stating that the reason they should be wiped off the face of this earth, according to his statement, is because of the things that they have done. Now, this is my thing, and I'm going to say this before I go into the sermon. If they was having a political debate about, the black community being oppressed and all of that, okay, the narrative, even though it was still a racist statement to me, then the narrative still would suit that conversation, being that would have been a dialogue. But for y'all to come in the comment section and state that, as a black conservative, he had a point because this is true, the things that, black people have gone through and this and that, he had a point. My thing is this: that had absolutely nothing to do with what him and Airhead was talking about. Okay, to me, y'all are reaching by trying to basically state that Martell made that racist statement, but it was based off of political defeat of black people being defeated politically. That got nothing to do with the statement he made. He did not make that statement because he was trying to make a stance for the black community. He made that statement because a lot of people were saying that him and Ariana getting their karma for the things that Martell did in his marriage. She was trying to insinuate that there's no such thing as karma. And even if it was, like, how long does karma last? Y'all keep saying karma, 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 but I've been fornicating with this married man for over 12 years. So she's basically trying to say in her dangy brain that karma has an expiration date. And they were both trying to manipulate each other, and he tried to rebuttal that by saying karma don't exist at all, because if karma existed, then, you know, white folks would have been wiped off of the face of this earth, and one didn't have nothing to do with the other. So my thing is, y'all trying to defend Martell and make it seem like he made that statement for a political stance. Y'all are just as wrong as two left shoes put together. You sound like, to me, y'all are the ones that are reaching, okay? Because y'all are trying to make it seem like Martell was making a political stance, a political standpoint. And that had nothing to do with it, because they wasn't talking about anything politically. They was trying to justify Martell having his affair and committing adultery in his marriage. Now, if y'all want to take a stance, I'm going to need y'all to take a biblical stance. How about a man should not be committing adultery? How about that? For anybody who tries to defend Martell on anything, I'm going to look at you with the side eye. Because everything this man has done, he does not deserve no type of support at all. And it's a disgrace for any woman who comes up under my comment section and tries to help Martell make sense of anything. First of all, nothing he says out of his mouth makes sense. So for y'all to try to make sense out of anything Martell says, it makes me question your state of mind and your lack of reasoning thereof. Because what he said made no sense at all. And I still said what I said, and what I said was that was a racist statement. Whether you agree or disagree, that's cool with me. But what you're not going to do is try to justify it by stating that he was basically defending black people when he said that. No, ma'am. I'm not listening. I might have been born that night, but I wasn't born last night. And I'm just not believing the hype. He said what he said, and he was wrong. And like I said, even if y'all wanted to agree that what he said was justifiable, there's a time and a place. That was not nowhere needed. You know, that conversation that statement he made did not fit the conversation that was at hand. Okay, so y'all can miss me with that. And as far as me being a reach, I don't reach, I teach, and I preach to each. Thank you. Hallelujah. Okay, now back to our scheduled program. Let's get into talking about this, right? And hit that like button, y'all. Appreciate y'all. The curse of the side piece saga continues. Ladies, let's be honest. You cannot build your happiness on another woman's tears. It always looks glamorous in the beginning, but the reality is much different. At Arion Air Mattress, you cannot fool us behind that filter deal. No. You've been putting on brave face for years, and that brave face, you wear it like MAC makeup foundation, because you so badly want to convince all of us who have wisdom and knowledge and understanding. You think you can manipulate us into believing that you are happy with this man. And as I stated, what's understood don't have to be explained. If you are really, really happy with your adulterer, with Markdown Martell, you wouldn't have to keep putting on these extra theatrics, going live every moment you can to try to convince us that you're really happy with this man. Because if you're really happy with your man, my man, you don't have to keep forcing it down our throats. And it's like anytime somebody tries to force you to feed something, it's really because they don't even believe it themselves. And what they have to do is try to convince other people, because it also helps them to convince themselves. Now, not the last upload I did about the racist statement, but the statement before, the upload I did before that, when I talked about the TikTok live that Arion did with Martell. If you watch that latest live, if y'all was really paying attention, you could see it in her face. She's not happy. She's not happy, but she's still holding on, trying to prove to the world that she won. Girl, we know you're not happy. You want to get away from Martell. That's why you want to work. Furthermore, I know you're tired of being a babysitter, because you can't fool us for a second and make us believe that Martell do not always have you watching those kids. Martell has you for his benefit. You want to be with him, but he has a benefit for you. He does not want to be with you, but he know he benefits being around you. And that is the difference, okay? So y'all, we're going to break down the elements, right? Please, in the comment section, hit that like button for me. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. Okay. Question, ladies. If you think Ariane is really happy, no, let me say this first. If you know Ariane is putting on the front and still trying to convince everybody she's happy, press 1. If you know she's deep down sad and miserable, and she really wants to get away from this ninja, press 2. And you know I'm going to put a poll in my community tab, so I'm going to need y'all to run over there after this live is done. And I'm going to need y'all to answer to that poll. If y'all have the time to do it, I would appreciate it. Because I'm tired of these side chicks lying. I'm tired of the lies. I'm tired of the perpetrating. Because it's all the front. And I'm going to tell you why it's all the front. This is where we're going to break down the elements, y'all. So, again, hit that like for me if you haven't hit that like already. Now, why Ariane would never be happy. Let's talk about why Air Mattress will never be happy. Okay? Number 1, no trust foundation. If he cheated with you, he'll cheat on you. Okay? First of all, let's be honest. Neither one of these two trust each other. They don't. Martell, listen y'all. Markdown Martell will never ever trust Air Mattress. Put it this way. She'll trust him before he trusts her. I'm going to tell you why Markdown don't trust Air Mattress, right? Markdown had Air Mattress several times throughout that marriage. He had her bent over during the duration of several years throughout his marriage to Melody. He had her in the back seat of the car. He had her at the Motel 6. Listen, Markdown had Air Mattress anytime, anywhere, any place. He was able to smash her to smithereens anytime he wanted. He was always able to have Air Mattress anytime he wanted. She always gave it up to him. She never turned him down. She never turned him away. Listen, he was able to hit it and get it any and every time he wanted. She never rejected him. She never told him, no, you're still married. I'm not going to feel comfortable still, having sexual relations with you until you're done with your wife. She always gave it up to him. And let me tell you how these men move, ladies, in case y'all don't know. Men are very funny creatures because the irony is that they have standards. Especially these worldly men, these men who still are indulging in the flesh and still partaking in worldly ninja behavior. The way they look at it, and this is how Martell is looking at it. All the times I had you, and I really didn't have to fight for it, you easily gave yourself to me multiple times. I know for sure you will do it with the next ninja. If you were slow enough to do it with me and for me, I cannot trust that you will have discernment not to do it for someone else. This is why he does not want Ariane to work. He had bent Ariane over several times in that marriage. So in his mind, he's thinking if she works at a hospital, at a job where there's other men, it's going to be other men bending her over in the janitor closets within them hospitals. or in the hospital parking lot, he's not going for it because he was able to manipulate her and have her as many times as he wanted. He knows the next man will take advantage just like he always have. And this is the problem when you decide to become a man's side piece. He will never ever trust you. Because he knows how easily you gave it to him. He knows how easily you gave into him. In his mind, he's going to always feel, well, damn, if she always gave me the cookie, I know she's going to give it up to someone else. Martell don't trust Ariane worth a darn. Now, this is the irony, right? The irony is when Markdown Martell was married to Melody, believe it or not, he really trusted Mel. Now, we know our girl Mel never trusted him, right? He trusted Mel. That's why he was so sure. That's why he made all the decisions he made, because he trusted just that much that she was going to stand by him and be with him no matter what. Well, the joke's on him, and he found that out the hard way, right? So, he will never say it. Martell will trust Mel before he trusts Ariane. When a man has had you multiple times in his marriage, he will not trust you if he decides to be with you. If he loses his marriage or if he decides to walk away from his marriage, he will never ever trust you. He got you, so he feels like another man will do the same thing. He feels like he was able to manipulate you, so therefore another man will be able to manipulate you. Now, can I get an amen? I need an amen. A man knows that if he cheated with you, he feels like you'll cheat on him. Okay? All right. So, that's reason number one. Okay? While another woman's husband would never be your crown. He don't trust you. Okay? All right? 2, insecurity grows. The other woman always compares herself to the wife or the ex. And we know Ariane Air Mattress lives to copy and duplicate everything Mel has done, and she's been unsuccessful at it. You couldn't even duplicate getting her husband, because that's the thing. When Melody had got with Martell, he wasn't somebody else's husband. Okay, she didn't get him off of off the foundation of taking him from somebody else's wife. I mean, taking him as somebody else's husband, because then her karma would be deserved, right? But this is the thing. Melody did not take Martell from somebody, from a married woman, okay? You did. So you'll never, ever get in Melody's lane. It's not going to happen, but because, for one, you didn't get with Martell the same way Melody had got with Martell, okay? So you can't even size yourself up. You know what I mean? 2, Melody is a businesswoman. She doesn't pretend to be one. She doesn't play the role. She naturally is, and she has the receipts to prove it. The woman has a business. She's an entrepreneur. She's making boss moves. None of the moves you've been able to make. So just because you got another woman's man, that don't mean you'll be able to really take that woman's place. Now, you may end up with the man, but you'll never be in her position, because, for one, you don't have the mindset Melody has. You don't have the tenacity she has. You don't have the strength she has. First of all, Melody was not going to let Martell tell her she can't work or have a job. You, on the other hand, he's already hindering you and blocking you from being able to grow and elevate yourself, because this man don't even want you getting a job. He don't want you working at night. And I told y'all why on my last live. He will not let Air Mattress work, because he sees Melody taught him what an independent woman can do. Melody has scared Martell from wanting to get a woman that's independent and self-sufficient, because he knows that an independent and self-sufficient woman is not going to tolerate him and not going to deal with him. Melody taught him that. He's not going to let Air Mattress get in a place in which she's self-sufficient, independent, and don't need him. And more importantly, again, he's worried about her getting bent over in the hospital on a job. He won't even let her work to the warehouse. He'll be worried about her getting bent over at the warehouse. He won't let her work to Walmart or Walgreens because he's worried about somebody bending her over. Because he was always able to bend her over. And he bent her over for 6 or 7 years and still bending her over. Hit that like button. Public perception. This is the next one. Everyone labels her as the side chick forever. Girl, no one respects you, boo. Every time we see you as an appetizer. We see you as coleslaw. We see you as red beans and rice. We see you as a biscuit. We see you as a cum biscuit. No one respects you. Anywhere you go with this man, you'll have a few flunkies that's going to try to act like they support you and they roll with you because they got so much jealousy and animosity against male. So they'll support you off the strength of not liking male. But that's cool too. It's not stopping male bags. So nevertheless, right? You will always have that label. Everywhere you go, I don't care if you go to Walmart, people going to look at you as Martell's side chick. They will not look at you as his wife. They will not look at you as his woman. Even if y'all got married today. Listen, when Wendy Williams' ex-husband, Kevin Hunter, got with Sharina, whatever her name was, nobody looked at her as her being Sharina Hudson. Everybody looked at her as Kevin Hudson side chick. Wendy Williams, ex-husband side chick. And she still has that label. And guess what? Everything Sharina Hudson, Wendy Williams, ex-husband side chick, baby mama tried to do, she tried to have her own cooking book. Nobody bought it. She had her own cooking wear. Nobody bought it. You would not get blessed building off another woman's nest. No, ma'am. Y'all don't want to believe it because in your mind, you just mean you're just going to move on and build and create this world and you don't have to answer for, the karma that's been dealt to you. And you're going to have to deal with that. Even though a lot of Martell's minions tried to state that he only made that statement from a black conservative standpoint. Y'all sound just as silly as hell. But anyway, nobody's not going to look at you more than that. Who is going to want to do a business proposition with Ariane? Who's going to want to go in partnership or create a business with her? Her face, she's made her face the mascot of a side chick. I mean, when I see Ariane, that is what I see. I don't see her as her own person. I see her as Martell's mistress. Everywhere she goes, people are going to see her as that. So she will never be respected. And if she thinks she's going to prosper being with Martell, the devil is a liar. Because for one, God is not going to let her prosper. And for two, Martell is not going to let her prosper. He don't even want her working. He want her to the house, making chicken Alfredo and keeping his children so he can make himself believe that he's a good father. That way he can get out of his daddy duties and leave the children on Ariane air mattress. And because she wants him so bad, she don't mind keeping his ex-wife's children along with her little helmet because she wants to prove her loyalty. Moving on. Guilt and resentment. Even if she pretends not to care, deep down she knows how the relationship started. This is why that conversation came up. And if y'all paid attention to TikTok Live, she did say in but so many words, she knows that they encountered a lot of karma because of their actions. She even said that. Okay? And if you go back and you watch the TikTok Live, you'll see where she said it. Because I'm not going to keep playing that, right? But even she admitted it. She knows in her heart. A lot of people are not accepting of her being with Martell. But Air Mattress is one of those women that she will suffer before she allows people to be able to prove their point. She will suffer. She will cry behind closed doors and all of that. In other words, had a phone call, my bad, y'all. That was my hubby. Other words, She's one of those type of women that no matter how bad it gets, she gonna hang on like a bad tooth. Okay? Because she is so determined to prove that Martell is not playing her for a fool, and she's going to be the last woman standing. And unfortunately, he's going to let her down. It's only a matter of time. He's already doing that. Okay? So again, that public perception, that is a stain that she's going to have to walk around with for the rest of her life. And she's willing to do that. Okay? She's just that desperate. And her self-esteem is just that torn. She is willing to take the fall on that. Next. Why Ariane will never really be happy with Martell. Guilt and resentment. Even if she pretends not to care, deep down she knows how the relationship started. She doesn't ever have to admit it. She never has to say it. But the truth of the matter is always haunting her. And how I know it's haunting her, because she's trying too hard to prove that it doesn't. If that makes sense. Okay? That's why she keeps going live every chance she gets. She knows that she cannot go on that show. So to make it known that, hey, I'm still here, even though I'm not getting the recognition I really wanted, which was through the show, because she really, really thought she was just going to be able to swoop right on in and take Mel's place. She thought once Mel left that she's automatically they was going to transition her right on in Mel's spot. And that is not happening so far. So she has to create her own lane to prove that she still has a stance, that she is still here, and that she's still with Martell. And we know that Martell is still playing the game and making her believe that her not being on the show is not affecting their relationship, is not going to affect their future. He still has her convinced that he's on that show for it to benefit the both of them, when in actuality is really benefiting him. And I know it infuriates her that her name is constantly being mentioned on that show, but she knows that she would never get a spot, at least for now. She doesn't have a spot. She's not been offered or handed that position. So even though she has Martell, it's not enough. Not only does Ariane want Martell, but she wants Melody's life that Melody had with Martell. Not understanding that Melody's way of thinking and her way of living was how she was able to have that kind of lifestyle with Martell. You can want what another woman wants, but if you don't have the mindset, or you're not ambitious, you don't have the support, you're never going to be in her position. It's just not going to happen. You will never be Mel. You don't have the mindset of Mel. You're not business minded. Not only that, Air Mattress lets Martell run all over her. She can't even get a job. Okay, so how can you better yourself as a woman when you don't have a man that's willing to support you and say, yeah, babe, I want you to work. I want you to be able to make your own money. I want you to be independent and self-sufficient. He wants her to be stagnant because, again, Melody gave him a harsh reality. It was okay when he's able to benefit off a woman who had more than him, but he found out in the ultimate end that if a woman has more than you, that means she could easily discard of you as well. He don't want Air Mattress to nowhere get on that level. So she knows how the relationship started, and she's forever going to have to live with that. Next, no true validation. Because she wasn't chosen first, she was the backup plan. Air Mattress is only a second option. She's not understanding if Mel wanted him today, he would drop everything to go be with Mel. If Mel was one of those women who wanted to prove a point more so than keep her peace, and she was to open the door and extend a second chance to Martell, he would leave her cold as ice. He would. And the scary part about that, though, Ariane would definitely, she would most likely try to unalive him. The thing is, I think both of them are stuck with each other, and it's dangerous. Because I think the moment one tries to leave the other, I think it can very well end up as something tragic. If y'all think, let me ask you ladies in the chat, right? Do y'all believe that if Martell was to leave Ariane, she would handle it gracefully? If you believe she would handle it gracefully, press 1. If you believe she wouldn't handle it gracefully, press 2. And if Ariane was to leave Martell first, do you think he would handle it gracefully? Now, my thing is, I don't think he would care if he was the one to leave first and benefit first. He wouldn't care about Ariane going on about the business of leaving. But I do believe if she was, and we know she's not going to do, but if Ariane was the one to decide to up and leave him and go be with somebody else, I think he would definitely give her hell, because he knows that she's weaker than Melody. Now, we already see how he's acting out with Melody. And that's because Melody has taken a stance to not allow Martell's games of manipulation to bring any fear in her, or to manipulate her from not moving on with her life. Air Mattress, on the other hand, she's not that strong. She's not that mature. She would not be able to handle it gracefully if he was to step out on her. I believe both of them put themselves in a really bad position, because they both are very codependent on each other. It's like both of them are a bad drug, right? It's like a drug addict. That drug addict does not need to use those drugs, because those drugs are causing them to lose everything. But at the same time, if he decides to abruptly stop taking those drugs, then what will happen is the body will go through withdrawals, and he will start to really act out. And I strongly believe that both of these two are like a bad drug for each other. It's like they depend on each other, but at the same time, they are going to constantly be each other's downfall, like a drug addict. A drug addict don't need drugs, but they take it to survive. That's their way of mentally coping. And I believe that Martell and Ariane, they both are codependent on each other for the wrong reasons. You know, they both are needy. They both are insecure, and they both have low self-esteem, and definitely they both broke. Neither one of them ain't got no money, okay? And I believe Ariane is lazy. I don't think she really wants to work. I think it's an act where her asking about, this is what I think. Let me tell y'all something while it's on my mind, y'all. What I think is, I think she wants to be an Atlanta housewife. I think she wants to be one of those women who can sit home and chill. I believe in her sick mind, I think she's turned on with the fact that Martell don't want her to work. I believe in her sick bird brain mind, I believe she likes the fact that Martell don't want her to work, because in her mind it makes her believe, oh, my man, he don't want me to work. He wants to take care of me. He wants to treat me like a queen. I believe she is just that mentally, disturbed to the point. I don't think she really wants to work, y'all. I think that was an act. I think when she went on that live TikTok asking Martell why I can't get a job, why I can't work at night, that was just a front. I think she wants us to know that Martell is jealous. And you got some women, they think it's cute to have a jealous man. And I'll tell you, in the initial beginning, it may be cute, but the main thing that you think is cute about them will be the very thing that will end up destroying you, right? I don't know why this thing gonna come on here, y'all. But, you have to snooze that. Anyway, so I believe she does not want to be ambitious. But I believe what's going to happen is she's going to get so tired of being his maid mistress that she's going to want to work. She's going to want to get away from him sometimes. I believe it's going to come a point when she's going to get tired of just having this role in which she's this pretend housewife. She's a housewife that's not a wife, okay? I think she's going to get tired of just being in the house, especially if he's not putting a ring on it. I believe if he were to marry her, she probably wouldn't mind, but I believe the fact that she's not married, it's gonna come a point she's gonna want to like try to get from up under him. I believe Martell is a lot. I believe Martell is one of those men. Any man, any woman in her right mind would not want to be up under him 24/7. She's enduring a lot. She got Martell all to herself now, so she's seeing all of his nasty ways. She's seeing all of his arrogance, his bossiness. He's very demanding. He's hard to please. She sees all of that full circle. See, being the other woman, this is the thing about being a side chick, ladies, right? You don't really get to see all that man's true nature and true character until the wife decides to leave and let you have him full time. You know, now you're seeing everything that you were not able to see when he was making those little quick trips. You know, when he was treating you like a 7-Eleven pump and dump, you was not able to see all of his true character and his true nature. But once the wife is out the way and you have him wholeheartedly to yourself, now you really get to see this ninja for who he truly is. And you find out he's not that exciting. He's not that interesting to be with. He's not that fun. And in Arion's case, you may also find out who was the breadwinner, who was really making all of the money too. She thought all that time it was Martell who was making the money. Well, she's finding out Mel is the money maker. You know, that's been the breadwinner. See, sometimes you deal with these married men and they set you up for failure because they present to you a lifestyle that is untrue. They make it seem like they're the ones who make all the money. They make it seem like they call all the shots, and you will believe that because in most instances the man is supposed to be the provider. But in this day and age, tables have turned, and you have a lot of women that are the breadwinners and being the providers. Melody is a prime example of that. So be careful falling up behind these married men, because they will lie to you and make it seem like they got so much control. They got this, and that, and their wife don't do nothing. They run everything. You will find out in that divorce who was really calling the shots, or who will ultimately end up calling the shots, okay? Especially once the wife get that alimony, all that property and all them cars, and the only thing you get left with him is the bag of clothes that he brings to you once his wife gets rid of him. Hit that like button, y'all, if y'all haven't already. This is a good sermon, y'all. We needed to talk about this. If you love the sermon that y'all hearing so far, please give me a thumb up at this moment. I would really appreciate it. Just take a second out your day. I want to make sure that my views are matching up with my likes. So please hit that like button. I need all the support I could possibly get. For those who want to donate, you don't have to. But my Cash App is right here. $ Diamond Girl. As a matter of fact, I got to shout out the lady who sent me a Cash App. It was out of surprise, y'all. She sent me $25. I got to shout her out. I try to shout out those who be looking out for me, honey, because listen, I don't care if it's $2. People don't have to give you nothing. Okay, so I be appreciating it when y'all be looking out for a sister. So she did Cash at me. I'm trying to find her name. I just want to take a second. Her name is let me just make sure I say this correctly. The repositionist. The repositionist perspective. Sister looked out for me and gave me $25. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. She cashed at me Tuesday. So again, to the repositionist. Oh Lord, let me make sure I say this correctly. Repositionist perspective. Again, I appreciate you, love. And y'all know I got the vocabulary of a third grader, so I'm going to be butchering words, okay? I cannot pronounce words correctly that got over 4 syllables, but the Lord is working on me. Nevertheless, shout out to her, y'all. Shout out. I appreciate it. Okay, so let me get back to this, right? Let's go back into, let's go kind of do some deep diving, right? Let's kind of talk about Martell and Arion. Let's go into a little bit more about this whole ordeal when they first started kind of linking up together. All right, y'all. So to kind of refresh y'all memory a little bit about how this foundation of chaos was built off of this relationship when Arion decided to get involved with Martell. Well, Martell decided to disrespect his vows and get involved with Air Mattress. Martell was married to Melody for 7 years, had an affair with Arion. No, I'm sorry. For several years. I'll say, but I think they was married for 10. And he had an affair with Air Mattress within 7 years of the marriage. Okay? So you might as well say he was living a double life, because an affair is temporary. In this instance, he had been with this woman the majority of his marriage. So this was definitely a second life, okay, that he was living outside of his marriage. They now share a child, but even with them having a child, that child has not solidified their bond. It has not motivated Martell to want to marry her. Also, too, I noticed that since the little boy they had, she hasn't had any other children. The irony of that. Either Martell demanded her that she doesn't have any, or either she's realizing how hard it is with the two that she has, and she probably sees the reality of having a little helmet is definitely another responsibility that she probably really wasn't cut out for like that. So the irony of, yes, she had the baby to trap him, but at the same time it really didn't trap him like that, because he didn't marry her. There was nothing she really benefited out of it other than being able to say, oh, I got a child from him too. Okay. Now again, when she did the TikTok, it was very apparent that Air Mattress was miserable. Okay, Martell was dominating the conversation, dismissing her feelings, and showing no real affection. Not only that, he kept wanting her to stroke his ego. You know, tell everybody how I'm a good man. Tell everybody what it is about me that makes me great and all this other stuff and everything. And again, she really wasn't able to formulate that. Even when he was trying, even though he has all this control over Air Mattress, where he tells her what to say, but this is the problem. She's too slow to know what to say. This is the thing about women who like, this is the thing about men who like women who they can control. The problem with a woman who you can control 100%, 9 times out of 10 is because there is a lack of mental capacity, right? And the problem is when you want women like that to defend you, or to think fast on their feet, to think quick on their feet, to help you look good, they don't know how. Okay? If anything, Arion makes Martell look more pathetic. She's not able to think quick, and she's not able to convince, or at least sound convincing, even when she's trying to make him look like he's this great guy. You're a good man. Well, what is it about me that makes me a good man? And she really couldn't formulate the words. It's giving forced chemistry that's not there. Even she knows there's not much great things she can say about him, but to just say, oh, he's a good man, you do for me, you take care of me, I mean, you sent me to school. Whatever validation she gives him, it's not enough. It's not convincing enough to make us believe that he is this great guy, that he wants her to convince us that he is, right? Arion's mission to prove she's happy, her social media presence, always trying to show off, and you're not really showing us anything. You're not showing us anything that Martell is doing for you. Where is your wedding ring? Where is your wedding dress? Where is it that he has your name on a title and deed to a home? What is he giving you that's going to make us feel like, Martell is really stepping his game up. He's really putting more of himself out there. I don't see anything other than you move from the back seat to the passenger seat. Other than that, I don't see where you're getting promoted. in this relationship, right? Or situationship, okay? But in reality, you know, even though she tries to put up this front, we can tell she looks defeated, she looks tired, and she looks unfulfilled, okay? She's not happy at all. She's trapped. She can't walk away because she's too invested in proving she's won, even though deep down she lost her peace, right? So let's talk about the psychological toll. This is the curse of being a side piece, y'all. Please make sure you hit the like button. You would never get blessed off another woman's tears. It's not going to happen, okay? She's still seeking validation. Ariane Air Mattress wants Martell's approval because she didn't get chosen first, okay? She's still looking for Martell to take things to the next level, so she can feel she's not that second option, and Martell is not going to give her that. And put it this way, if he, by the time he does give it to her, it's not even going to mean anything. Because, you know, like, I don't know if any of you ladies are willing to admit it, or maybe at one point in time you experienced this. When you waited so long for a man to finally marry you or want to build something with you, and by the time he makes that decision, it's like you're not even excited about it, right? Because you waited so long. And sometimes it depends on the situation and what happens that makes him want to take it to the next level. Did he have to get locked up and be told he's doing time in prison? Now he wants to marry you? Or he done got himself in a bad bind where his wife divorced him and took everything. Now he wants to marry you. Sometimes it defeats the purpose of a man finally getting to that place in which he's willing to show you and prove to you that he wants to take it to the next level. But it's bittersweet when he only wants to take it to the next level because he's down on his luck. You know what I mean? It's kind of like an oxymoron situation. Okay, you want to build with me, but damn, it took you getting broke all the way down to nothing for you to finally get to the point where you want to build with me, right? Make sure you hit the like button. So she wants Martell to approve of her, but the problem is Martell wants so busy for her to prove to the world that he is the opposite of what everybody else wants to believe. So how can a man make you feel important when he wants you to always be the one to convince everybody else how important he is to you? Okay? Comparison syndrome, always sizing up the melody who has moved on. Let me, and I said this many years ago, well, probably a couple of months ago in one of my other contents. Don't think for a second that Martell does not throw in Ariane's face what Melody does or used to do. Martell is nasty. He's a narcissistic ninja. He loves to make a woman feel like doo-doo. Ariane is no exception to the rule. Don't think now, even though up front he acts like he hates Melody so much, he can't stand Melody and he thinks the worst of her. Don't think that he's not throwing shade to Ariane behind closed doors about Melody. He is that type of ninja. He will do that. He likes to make a woman feel bad about herself. Okay? Especially when he goes through those moments where he's feeling like the world is against him. Don't think that Martell is not taking our frustration out on Ariane Air Mattress. If y'all believe that Martell takes out his frustration on Ariane Air Mattress, press 1. If you think he treats her like this wonderful queen behind closed doors, press 2. I just want y'all input on that, right? He does it. He's that type of ninja. He will spit all over Melody publicly, will try to defame her name, but behind closed doors, he's comparing Ariane to Melody all the time. See, one thing about Melody knew how to conduct business. Melody knew how to do this. Melody always took up time with the kids. You know, those moments when he don't want to be bothered with a little helmet, he'll say some effed up to her like, well, at least Melody, she would take care of her kid. You know, anything to get up under her skin, to get out of not doing what he needs to do for Ariane as a man. He would try to make her feel bad by throwing Melody up in her face. And guess what? We will never know because she's never going to say that. Trust and believe, Air Mattress would never, ever let us know that he compares her behind closed doors. Unless one day she decides to end the relationship because she gets tired of pretending. And she may become transparent then and say, well, you know what? Honestly, I was tired of him always comparing me to her. He's doing that a lot. Don't think for a second. He does that a lot. That's why she wants to work. She wants to make money. This is the irony. The narcissistic nature of a ninja will compare you and bash you to a woman who works, but he don't want you to work. See the kind of mind games? Listen, Martell has Ariane's brain on a roller coaster. And I don't say this because I empathize with her, but I'm just saying, he's that type of ninja. I want to say the other word, but I can't. He's that type of ninja. He keeps her brain on a merry-go-round. You know, one minute he's letting her know you're such a good woman for standing by me, and then he'll pull a rug up under her foot. You so stupid, you so dumb. He's something else, y'all. And that's why when that person said, Ariane don't need a job, Martell is a job. And he really, really is. He is a full-time job. Okay? Overtime without the extra pay. Just overstressed. Okay? Bitterness cycle. The more she invests, the more she feels like she has to defend him. She's put in, what? Like 7-8 years in the Martell. And Ariane is getting older. You know, she's not getting any younger. I don't think she's understanding how badly she's ruining her life. Nevertheless, she has put herself in a position in which she is in captivity to Martell. She's in debt to him. If you don't think that Martell is not, every chance he get, telling her she's the reason he lost his marriage. And she's never going to say that, and he's never going to say that, because he doesn't want to give anybody brownie points that we know that he regrets leaving Mel. But behind closed doors, he lets Ariane know his true feelings. He lets her know that if you wouldn't have did what you did, I wouldn't have lost my marriage. If you would have played it cool, if you wouldn't, he's not going to take accountability. If you could think about it, he blamed Melody for not wanting to stay in that marriage, even though he was the one who disrespected and violated that marriage. Don't think that he's not giving Air Mattress the business, because he is. He's giving her the business, and he's letting her know, you are the reason I don't have what I have. Because Martell is a sore loser, and he's not a man. He lacks accountability and masculinity. He lacks both of those things. So he lets her know, and that's probably what keeps her in bondage with Martell, because he's made her feel so guilty and saying, we supposed to be in this together. I lost everything because of you, so therefore you owe me, and you got to stand by me no matter what. I can picture Martell saying something like that. You the reason I lost my marriage, I lost my wife. And don't think he doesn't call Melody his wife behind closed doors. Even though Melody has been going on, he's the nasty ninja. He has that nasty narcissistic ninja nature. He does these things to Air Mattress behind closed doors. And one of these days we're going to catch it. One of these days it's going to get exposed. You could only protect and defend the narcissistic ninja for so long. Control imbalance. This is a psychological toll that Air Mattress has to deal with. Martell sets the rules, she follows. Nothing is more miserable than being in a relationship with a man who sets all the rules, but he gets to break as many as he wants to break. The irony. Martell has always been the type of ninja. He's always wanted to call the shots. He makes the rules as he goes, but he's allowed to break the rules as many times as he pleases. And there's nothing that woman can do to alleviate herself from that. Any woman that's going to be with Martell, she's going to have to let him set the rules. And guess what? She cannot confront him about the rules that he breaks. Ariane is not fooling me. She is more miserable than the inmate who's been sentenced to life in prison. Because, you know what? Being with a narcissistic ninja, you constantly see them do stuff that you know they would not dare allow you to do. Do you understand how frustrating that is? To be with somebody who's telling you he hates liars, but you see him lie to you constantly. Or he tells you he hates a woman who acts hoish, but you see him do hoish things as a man. Martell does all of that. Martell will put his foot down on a woman on not doing things that he don't want her to do, but that woman has to succumb to him doing whatever the hell it is he wants to do. It's very, very frustrating and tiresome. But this is what you sign up for when you decide to be the other woman, okay? Denial as a coping mechanism. Saying she's happy when her body language says otherwise. You are just there, but you know you're not there in a position in which you want Martell to place you. You want him to place you as that wife. You want him to give you that life of luxury. You want him to give you that life of acknowledgement. All of these things that you're seeking, Martell's not going to give you that. Because the thing about Martell feels like if he gives a woman too much happiness, that he's setting himself up to lose his ground. Martell is a narc. And a narc, they know that if they keep belittling a woman, that she will not have enough confidence and esteem within herself to walk away and leave. So therefore, she will continue to stay and take the abuse, and he knows that. He does not want to uplift a woman so much to the point to where that woman will feel like she doesn't need him. He will give you just enough of kibble and bits to make you feel like you're sexy to him. He finds you attractive. He'll say just enough to make you think you're getting somewhere with him, but the abuse and the manipulation that comes behind it, it defeats all the purpose. Martell is the kind of person I would tell you, you beautiful, you gorgeous, you're the most prettiest woman he ever saw, but then you'll turn around and you'll see him, DMing another woman in one of his inboxes. I mean, he loves to set a woman up for failure just so he can let her down. Okay? In closing argument, this just isn't about Ariana Curry. It's about every woman who thinks she can win by taking another woman's man. Not so much taking, by getting involved. Because you have a lot of women, they give their husbands to women who think they can do better. Because you have women that have gotten to a place to where I'd rather protect my peace than try to prove a point. That's what Melody did. Melody gracefully gave Martell to her. And that's the irony. She acts like she won Martell when Melody gave Martell to her to have. She's not getting that. And she doesn't want to get it because the reality of knowing that, it would hurt her. It would make her feel 20 times more stupider. So you have a lot of women who learn to block out reality because it gives them peace of mind with their fantasy. Okay, they rather live with a lie than live with the truth, because a lie is more comforting. A lie is keeps them more at ease than the truth. But the thing about it, the truth is not going to leave you alone. The truth is going to always be there. Happiness cannot be borrowed. Peace cannot be stolen. If it starts in chaos, it'll end in chaos. For them to believe that they can just drive off into the sunset and live this great life, and overlooking how they achieved this relationship together through deceit, through lies, through adultery, through cheating, through the violation of a marital union that was demonstrated under the oath of God, for them to think that they can just move right along happily and this not continue to come back on them. It just shows you how people learn to live comfortably with their lives. But the truth gonna stand a test of time. Let me ask you ladies this. Do you think Ariana's truly happy? Or is she just trying to prove something? Press 1 if you really think in her mind she's really happy. Or press 2 if you believe she's just trying to prove something. Let me ask you this, in case you catch the playback later on for those who are not viewing it live. Would you ever trust a man who cheated with you? Is being chosen second ever a real win? Okay? And we see it all the time, right? We see Alicia Keys with Swiss Beats. We see Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade. Do these women really look happy long term? Or are they just trying to make it look good for the public? You know, so these are just things we have to think about, y'all. Before I get ready to wrap some things up. Let me see if there was anything else. No, I think we pretty much got everything wrapped. So at the end of the day, y'all, you're not going to be able to build happiness off of another woman's brokenness. It's just not going to happen. You're not winning. You basically, you're fighting for leftovers, okay? And with my closing points, happiness isn't borrowed, peace isn't stolen, and love isn't forced. So y'all, please hit that like button for me before you leave. Let me know what you think. I appreciate y'all for rocking out with me, for still being loyal to me, y'all. And again, I so appreciate the support. Please hit that like button, everyone. And you know we're going to get it popping on the next sermon. So please make sure you hit that like button. That way, also subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on my content. And I'll be hollering at y'all next week. Take care.